All right, ladies and gentlemen, got your watch list coming in November 18, 2019, and these three stocks are going to go crazy. We got earnings season wrapping up. There is still a few companies, and surprisingly, they're not making my list here, but I'm still going to keep watching them. You guys saw last week, even down to the Nvidias at the end of the close. We're going to be watching these plays, so the remaining earnings are not my focus. However, the continuations and these other opportunities we've been seeing. So there's a lot we're going to be going over here today. Hopefully you guys are ready to go, but let us not delay. I have a few keys for you. We're going to go over some of the plays we're going to be watching, as well as some of the plays that we're already in, and just setting up for tomorrow. If we could keep this win streak rolling, it'll be 7 weeks in a row, so keep your guys' eyes peeled. Be positive, respectful, grateful. Get ready to source information. It's going to be hype. Okay. Whew, I can't get too crazy here, so let's get into it, though. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description, and it is pinned in the comments. You can watch every single one of these trades live, and hopefully we see you there in the morning, so you could come hang out with us, find plays. Maybe you're the one who calls out the news. Who knows? And again, too, man, coming on these weeks, we're seeing how things are playing out. It does not matter if you made money, lost money. At least you're going to learn something, and even where we're at right now, today's November 18th. They're coming in November 18th. After this week, once it gets into the holidays, Thanksgiving, and the early close Black Friday, then you're boom, two more weeks after that away from Christmas, or 3 weeks. It's getting to the end of the year, so hopefully you guys are ready. Oh, and the most important thing you need to do, post your watch list below. Let us know what you're looking at. Source that information. Let us know what you're into. And yes, be positive and respectful. And I hope you guys are ready too. Paper trade as well. Take it slow. Again, hopefully you guys are doing the allocations. But my stance coming into last week was don't force anything. And we saw a lot of random plays kind of come there. So it's the same thing too. You guys understand. Be careful too. Option trader, chill, very soon. Can't lose out the most of financial investment. Please consult with financial advisor. It's for educational purposes only. But let's get into it. Let's not waste any more time. As far as the keys for tomorrow and this week, and I think it has to do more with what's going on these weeks. There's only these two things, but watch for the pivot point between earnings and news. And what I mean by that is that news hasn't really been affecting markets like it has in the past, and that could change here. We might start seeing some level of news come out. Again, we've been seeing the phase 1 trade deal, all that stuff go back and forth. We're starting to see Jerome Powell more in the Fed, and coming into the last Fed meeting, which will take place in December, and those TLTs are still on the board. And we saw even how that played out last week, but keep all of this in mind, but be aware of that point where the earnings starts to fade away and you start to see either the market respond to data, or I put out my year-end predictions here. I am expecting a little tiny downside, and then after that washes away, I think coming into December, it might go crazy on the upside. But again, we're going to see, and it even relates to the plays I want to talk about, but watch out for that. Keep your eyes out for that. And then lastly, continuations. Those are the main thing that are going to be in play. This is what I'm going to be looking for this week. It's going to be a different type of continuation. Look for the companies that had the most recent earnings. Those are going to be better than the ones that are kind of like Netflix is coming off a few weeks. However, if they're reaching specific breaking points, that's a different story. But for the most part, some of these companies that just reported, even some of the ones that we played and lost on, those are giving us opportunities to come back. So I'm going to be keeping my eye out for those. But that's pretty much it. So let us get into the play. As far as the top 3 stocks that I think are going to go crazy this week, or even tomorrow, but mainly the rest of this week, and this has to do with continuations, Walmart. We'll go over some potential plays. I'm not too sure which ones, because my key here is watching where these open and how they open, even the overall market. We're going to be getting news tomorrow morning, so we need to see. So by pre-market tomorrow, I'll have an idea. Again, we do all these trades live, so you could come on live. You'll see when I get to Walmart. If you're going to miss it, you get your Scream insurance. It's all good to go, but I have to see where these are looking at. But as far as what am I expecting in a continuation, given it shot up and kind of came down to these levels, Walmart's at an interesting spot. I'm more inclined to go bullish on it and then have it bounce up and do a continuation, kind of like what we saw with Netflix. Otherwise, if that does not hold up, it will go down, given if it continues this momentum. And again, continuation. So if it continues this trend, I'm expecting a continuation from earnings where it's kind of giving back up a little bit and catches up there. But watch them. And then next, Nvidia. Again, this is a recent earnings continuation, and why I like both of these, because you could see over the last few days, even with them having their earnings, they didn't move as much. You see Walmart was back to its levels, but then you take a look at Nvidia. This is pretty much where it was trading at the lower end of the 5 days. You pull it up on the daily. you're seeing how much it's moved. Again, there's been big volume too, so I think you're going to get a continuation either way. Nvidia, I'm also looking bullish, but we're still holding that iron condor. So if it stays above 205 and below 214, we have 1,000% play. And if that play still exists, that could be a decent one to look at. And then lastly, this isn't the third one, but I'm going to give this an honorary mention. Home Depot. They're going to have earnings, and like I said, I'm going to have to be watching these to see how they play out. If it is able to get some steam tomorrow or this week before earnings and starts running up into earnings, that could be a good one to flip, kind of like we've seen. Every single one of these earnings plays, we've been able to flip them into earnings. The IV and just the overall pricing on Home Depot is a little bit cheaper, so that could be good. But that is not my third stock I think is going to go crazy. What I think it is going to be Amazon. And here's Amazon, and you can see how it's kind of diverging from the SPY. They have either a lot of upside if they bounce or if they start breaking down, but I'm starting to expect a big move coming here. The fact you're seeing Amazon diverge like this, it's saying one of two things. It's either why I say they're going to bounce up, because the market is going to show resilience and keep coming up, and Amazon will catch up with the market and all of the other peers in the NASDAQ, or it's going to keep coming down, and if it really starts selling off more and more, that'll have an impact on the S&P. So watch out for that, but watch out for that this week to see how it's developed. It already had a pretty bad Friday. But even in line with that, too, watch Microsoft as well. That's the one. But the main three plays that I think are going to be crazy here for earnings: Walmart, Nvidia, and then Amazon, which is not a continuation. But be on the lookout for HD as an honorary mention. And even, I would say, Boeing as well, too. So coming off of that news and ups and downs we saw last week, it's all at critical levels. Again, you can see how many days it's held these prices over the last few years. There's this price range around 370 or the 360s and whatnot. So keep watch out for that. But if it's another big news week, that's going to be a good one. Another play, even, I didn't put it up here, but it reminds me of it because these were the two big 1,000%. Watch UNA. Watch UNH in healthcare. Depending on how the healthcare stocks respond to this, anytime we've seen UNH get in some of these crazy modes, it usually persists for a few days. So depending on how that plays out, that'll let us know the scope even, or the severity of the news that came out with the healthcare. So I'm going to be watching out for that. But then lastly, keep your eyes out on McDonald's. They've been kind of down in that range, and you can see how they've bounced a little bit, but they're staying up here. It's the same thing that I liked about last week, and then they had that big move up and down. This could either be good for premium, or if they do start to rotate, if the market comes down, they could go up, or if the market starts even staying the same or not going up as much, McDonald's could get the boost. But then if they break through, that's going to be very negative. So I'm going to be watching McDonald's. Then Disney as well. There was even reports that Disney Plus already even got hacked. Some people had hacks. I saw it on Reddit. So watch out for that. It's already sold off a little bit, but if the Disney train continues, we'll see. We're still in that other play, the ghetto spread, so that's still holding us through. And then Expedia, those plays unfortunately expired worthless. Again, this could either be a point to sell premium if it bounces, but I don't know if it'll break through. I'd kind of get bullish on this, but I'm going to keep my eye on Expedia. And again, all of these are earnings continuations, and then like we said, UNH. So watch out for those. Again, Amazon and the S&P. I kind of want to build a big position on Amazon, even both ways. So kind of like it's an earnings play. I think Amazon is one of those positions. If it keeps diverging from the market, I might just do a bunch of calls and a bunch of puts within a certain standard deviation or a certain percentage with a decent amount of time, just with how it's been trading here. But again, Amazon has had times where it has diverged, it stayed low, and that could burn theta if we're wrong. So I'm gonna have to look into that play a little bit more, but I'm keeping my eye on that. But then don't forget about AMAT. So another continuation play, but here's the AMATs. We're still holding those 63s. We're still in that play. It held up pretty nice. What I do want to plan to do with that play is turn that to a ghetto spread. We could have done it here on Friday, but then it came down. I was a little late. I was like, all right, well, I'll just hold it. It seemed pretty strong. So watch them tomorrow. And what they could do is kind of how Qualcomm played out. They might shoot up early in the morning, and then that'll be the run, and then they'll start selling off. So be careful for that. But if they shoot up in the morning and they stay solid, AMAT could be a good one. Even for some of these contracts, if they start depreciating, if you haven't got into AMAT, that could potentially show an opportunity there tomorrow. I'm watching those, and then I'm going to be watching AMD. AMD is literally at a historical point here, and if they go crazy, or anytime AMD is fell after having a wicked run-up like these, the puts have paid out. I'm usually not a fan of these, so watching the video, watch the chip makers, even Qualcomm and how all that, and I'm still going to keep my eye on Qualcomm, believe it or not. I still think Qualcomm has a bag in it somewhere hidden there. So we'll keep our eyes out for that, but watch AMD as well. And then Apple, they've just been killing it anytime they've started to give up. Watch for them. It's kind of a market gauge or even a health indicator. So I'll be watching that. And like we said, Qualcomm. And then finally, don't forget about Roku, comparing it with the whole Netflix thing, comparing it with Disney. They just keep going. They broke out of that 140 148 for 146 we talked about. They went up $10 from there. So again, this is another range. If they break out from here, they could start getting crazy again. So maybe you could sell premium, or depending now, we have to look at the prices because some people may not even expect it to go up here. So if some of the further out the monies are cheap and that makes sense on the risk reward, we'll take it. Otherwise, you push these to the wall, wait for the frog, but I like those. And then Shopify as well. They kind of bounce, but they're still at this equilibrium level. If Roku starts doing good, or sometimes they inverse each other, but if any of those companies start to do good where you're seeing these growth momentum stocks pick up, Shopify, definitely keep that on your list. And then lastly, Uber. They're kind of hanging here at the low, but they kind of look like Expedia in a way, but at a slower pace. But I wouldn't be surprised for them to drop, or I kind of missed out on Macy's at the long term. Maybe we consider Uber. I don't know. You let me know what you guys think on that. And then this is the one I meant lastly, Walgreens, right there. They're still kind of up. It's below where we bought it in the long-term portfolio, but it's starting really a lot to look like Fitbit. So maybe if there is any more updates, we definitely probably will get some level of headline this week as far as that's going to, as the buyout's concerned, or taking it private, that leverage buyout. And I still think that could create some decent opportunity. So we'll keep our eye out for that. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list, like the video, be positive, be respectful, stay blessed. Y'all need me to pray for you. Fill out that request form. I want y'all to come in with some good vibes tomorrow. Let's keep this running again. I was hyped on Friday. I even lost my voice after Friday. It was insane. There's opportunities everywhere, man. We are all blessed. I'm blessed to share this with you. I'm blessed to have you guys there. I'm blessed to watch you all learn. I'm blessed to learn myself and just be alive during 2019 and what we got going on, baby. Stay hyped. Stay in the game. Don't worry, man. Nobody's getting left behind. Even if you down, we're gonna find some way to finesse it and get back up. Just watch, baby. We just need time. That's all. You got it. You got a lot of it. You know, God willing, we'll see. But I'm gonna leave it right there. I don't want to get too hyped and lose my voice again. So let's go.